Hello, almost Shabbat Shalom. Hello, beautiful people. Anybody who is here, supposed to be here. And who says that the beach always has to be sunny? Hello, almost Shabbat Shalom. What wonderful again to be here. I'm in one of my favorite spots here on the beach. And behind me, because of the camera, it's all white. So once I move, the gray comes in. So we'll stay like this. So hello everyone, almost Shabbat Shalom. We're at the end of Rosh Hashanah, of Yom Kippur. Oh, wait, I forgot the mic. We're at the end of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and there is the ocean there. It's a little gray, but again, who says that the ocean needs to be sunny all the time, right? So, oh, Alisa, Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, Chatima Tova. Yes, absolutely. I know. You know what? I never got the idea of Gmar Chatima Tova. You know how in Rosh Hashanah, Alisa reminded me of a good point. In Rosh Hashanah, we say Chatima Tova, which means may you be inscribed good signature, really. May you acquire good signature from the Creator, from the universe, that you'll have a great year. As we get towards Yom Kippur, and the days before Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, it says Gmar Chatima Tova, which means may you have a good ending to the signature. So is this like I'm at 75, God is at 75% of the signature, the ending of have a great ending of signature. I never got that thing, Chatima Tova, and it's a great blessing to wish for somebody to have a good year and prosperity and health and all this. So we just were in this huge bottleneck, this huge energetic bottleneck where we're going inside, we're revisiting things that we've been through, things that we want, or when I say things, it's not necessarily materialistic things. It could be also a state of mind or a state of heart, or where we are at one point or the other in our life, how we are in relation to somebody else. So that is really Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. How do we take care of our head? How do we take care of our relationships? How do we take care of our connections? How do we take care of our relationships to ourselves, to others, so we can set the path. We can set the path in the way that we want it to be set. And so this portion usually is being read, Parashat Ha'azinu, listen, is usually between around the Kippur, around this end of these holidays. And it is a time where Moses really, these are his last days before he passes on. And he's kind of telling the Israelites, the Jews, really, where were you not okay? Okay? Where were you not okay? And he's using language that may sound duplicate or unnecessary, and so, but the language is interesting. The language is interesting, and this is a great, as every week, this is a great lesson to how we are with ourselves, and what lessons we can take from that. So he's using. There are two sentences, but the first one, verses. The first one he says, "Tsur yeladecha teshi, v'tishkach el mecholelecha." Got that? Good. Now, so let's dissect that for you. You know, like the language. Hebrew is a wonderful language. So tzur is referring to a rock. Tzur is another word for a rock, but not just a rock, a pebble, just like a solid rock. You know, if you saw my other video in the desert, like one of these huge rocks, it's like really nothing can move it. But more than that, God is like a like rock of my salvation, right? You read this in scriptures. This is more of a rock that is almost like embedded within the ground, like a bedrock, like something that is part of the ground, doesn't go anywhere. So your kids, Teshi is a beautiful, very old language word for forgetting. Teshi, so your kid forgot the rock, and you forgot the God who gave you all the powers. And so this comes with a nice story. So there is this story about this guy that was rich, and he was very well respected in his community, and came the time where he just started getting into debt, and he couldn't really get out of it. And debt, and he was borrowing from this guy, and from this guy, and from this guy, and from this guy. And people would come to him and say, come on, where's my... They come to him with a bill. There was a bill you sign those days, like today, but it was more of an honorary system. Where is my $5,000? Or where is the money that you owe me? And he just didn't have money. And people were screaming at him. And one of this guy's friends came to him, somebody who he knew for a long time, and he tells him also, listen, you borrowed from me money, what's going on? And the guy said to him, listen, I tell you, I'm done with my life. You know, it's just really crazy. I can't handle it anymore. I'm just really, I don't have money. If I had, I would give you. So this friend had compassion for him, and he said, listen, I'll give you a trick. Do this. Anybody else who comes to you, says to you, hey, where's my money? Act like you're crazy. Go crazy, like move your hands and like be crazy, you know, like go really nuts. I mean, who is going to collect money from a loony, right? Just go crazy. All right, thank you. The next day, somebody else comes with this bill. Where is my 5,000 pounds, liot? And the guy saw him start going crazy, making faces, jumping on the table, and all this kind of crazy. The lender looked at him and said, wow, this guy really went crazy. I mean, he was a respectable guy, and suddenly he is going crazy. You know, he tore the bill up and left him alone. So did the next one and the next one. He saw that it works well, and he did it to all his creditors. 6 months later, that friend that gave him that idea heard that this guy got rid of all his debt. So he said, I probably taught him something well. I'll go collect my 5,000 pounds. He comes to this guy, said, hey, how are you? How you doing? So where's my 5,000 pounds? And the guy started going crazy and going like he's nuts and doing flip-flops in the air. And the guy said, what, do you want to smack you? I mean, I taught you this trick. I gave you this trick so to help you with everybody else, and now you have the audacity to use it against me? You forgot that I gave you that? And this is the same thing what Moses is talking to the people, to Israel. And this is what is for us. This is what Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the new moon, the equinox, everything. We forget that God, that creation, the source, everybody has a different name and a different knowing or belief system of how to relate to the Creator, right? So it doesn't matter how you call the Creator as long as you are talking with the Creator. It says, you forgot. I gave you forgetfulness to help you. God really gave us forgetfulness if we think about that. Gave us that gift of forgetfulness. Can you imagine if we wouldn't forget anything? I'm not talking about muscle memory, that muscle memory will remember when we go back to a traumatic place. we start acting out and start acting our patterns that come from traumatic experiences. But thinking, feeling here, go through, if you're with me here, go through a traumatic event that you went through, something that somebody said to you, something that somebody did. Yes, you'll remember the situation, but you will not live in it. You will not be in it. I mean, look at pregnancy. Women lose 8% of memory throughout and after the pregnancy. This is the part of the pain, the part of... That's why it's happening again. If somebody would live in forgetfulness, will not forget and will have all the memory of all pain, every pain. Can you imagine how we wouldn't live? We will pretty much expire because if we remember constantly every day of our life, all the pain and all the anguish and all the things that we go through with other people, all the experiences, good or not so good, but we're talking about the not so good, right? If we remember all this, we won't be able to function. That's why we say time heals. Why time heals? Because time allows us to go through these phases and forget. Now, what are we forgetting? What are we forgetting? I mean, we're not forgetting the action that happened. Oh, this person did A, B, C, or D. We're not forgetting if we go into meditation or we go into plant medicine work or sound work for that matter. We can come to this place where the body remembers the pain. But what are we forgetting really? We're forgetting the attachment, the emotional attachment that we had towards that situation. I can remember things with myself when I went through breakups, when I went through things that were devastating. I can remember them today, look at my place of doing, be able to look at things like a map without the emotional attachment. This is something that I work with clients, is releasing this emotional attachment and starting to look at everything like a map so we can start manifesting based on our spiritual journey and not manifesting maybe things that keep bringing back the patterns of where we come from and why we do things and certain things like that. So the forgetfulness that God gave us is really to help us. Just like in the story that I told you about, this guy that gave this guy some crooked trick to get rid of the debtors, right? God gave us this forgetfulness to help us. But many times what is happening, we're feeling comfortable. Oh, everything is good. Everything is hunky-dory. Everything is lovely. Oh, the sun is shining. The birds are singing, the beach and everything. And we forget. And we forget. So we are kind of forgetting we're using this basically on the same entity that gave us these tools. In the Gemara, it talks also about that sleeping, because if you look at sleeping is kind of a waste of time, right? But aside from the health benefits, and there is a very significant meaning for sleeping aside from these physical benefits, as is written in the Gemara. It is a time for a new beginning. We go to sleep, we close a chapter. That's why King Solomon says, never go to sleep or never let the sun go down on your problems, meaning if you are in a relationship or any kind of a relationship, it doesn't have to be a romantic one, it could be any other one. You are encountering somebody who is triggering you, who is bringing things to the surface, and you want to resolve this. It's never good to go to sleep, to let the sun go down on our problems, because then think about it's like a dent in the car, that dent stays. So the night, sleeping is kind of a forgetfulness in a sense that it gives us a clean slate opportunity to start again. Tomorrow is a new day, right? So this is what Moses is talking about, and this is a great reminder for us that this forgetfulness, this time of what serves us, what doesn't serve us, can't be confused with, Is there God or is there not God? Is it all me, 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 my own might, my own thing, my own this? But it is a matter of believing and knowing. And that brings us to the second portion. The second portion that is talking about. And there is double words here. Hatsur, tamim po'alo, hatsur, again, the rock. Tamim po'alo, tamim comes from, well, let me read this. Hatsur tamim po'alo, kichol derachav mishpat, el emuna ve'ein avel, tzadik derachav. So, Hatsur, again, is the rock. Tamim, the simple explanation, the simple translation, somebody would say is innocent. What, so are you talking about being innocent before God or being like gullible? Or no, Tamim comes from the word whole, tam, to be whole with God, or to be whole in general. There are drones here flying around. Maybe they're picking up also some of this. And so, Hatsur Tamim Poalo, God, the rock, is always here for our benefit. Everything that is happening for our benefit. I don't know, can you just let me know how you hear me, if you hear me okay? I mean, I didn't hear anything until now, so I'm sure that you're hearing me fine. So Hatsur Tamim Poalo, God, the rock, always has our best interest in mind, if you will. Our best interest all the time. Kichol derachav mishpat. All the ways are just. And it brings to the difference between a just, I talked about this in a few portions back, the difference between a judge and a lawyer. That a lawyer is not really going for what is just. The lawyer's intention is to satisfy his or her client. It's not really a just thing, but a judge must come with purity, with non-bias, neither here or here. El emunah ve'ein avel, a God of faith and there is no wrongdoing, brings the word of emunah. Emunah, ma'amin, many people will say, I believe. That's a simple word. It's not just, I believe that there is God. Emunah comes from putting trust. I put my trust. Emun comes from the word emun. And if you shrink it even more, the word amen, right? But comes from the word emun, trust. I put my trust in God that everything that is happening for my journey. Now, this brings a point that you say, well, I mean, there is justice in the world. There is court systems. We look at the court systems that there are. Whether the court system is truly just or not, it's a whole different story. And we can talk about it from here until tomorrow, and we can find all kinds of things. But let's look at the justice system that happens as a system on earth. Even the justice system on earth, when there is justice being made, there is avel, there is wrongdoing. For example, two friends are arguing, or no friends, or somebody is robbing somebody, and the robber takes out a knife or a gun and stabs this person, wounds him or kills him, God forbid, whatever. He does something that is not good. Police comes, they catch him, goes to trial, he killed a person, he got 20 years in prison. That seems just. But in the same courtroom, there is the wife of that stabber, and there are the 4 children of that stabber. So the wife tells the judge, I know he stabbed. Why am I to suffer with the kids? 20 years, we need a father, we need a husband. So the judge will say, yes, maybe for you it's unjust, but it's just. We have to do that. Otherwise, if we let everybody roam and do whatever they want, each one will eat one another up. So we need to keep that order. We need to keep that justice. With God, everything that happens, every single thing that happens has a reason. Everything that happens in this physical realm has a spiritual reason and cause. So when God gives us something, or when God appears to take something from us, it is because there is something, there is a plan in my journey. Now, there, in the grand scheme, in the map of the entire movie, because our life is only a scene, our entire life is only a scene in a huge movie that we cannot see the beginning or the end yet, at least not here, right? So when something is happening and we look at it from a spiritual way, when we look at everything that happens in our lives, when everything that happens throughout existence from a spiritual lens, we will see that everything has a reason. God forbid a disaster happen. I just passed now on my way here. I passed a horrible accident where I saw a guy. I think I just got there maybe 2 minutes after, or a few minutes after it happened. Well, a few minutes after it happened, because there were ambulances. There was somebody, a pedestrian, that got hit by a car on the ground, and they were trying to revive him or to do all what they needed to do. So there are different levels of suffering that people are going through, and all these levels are these levels that these people are supposed to experience. For example, the person himself, the family of the person are experiencing grief, or hopefully, God willing, amen, may he be okay and may he be fine in no time. Nevertheless, there is pain, there is fear. They're experiencing. Somebody who's driving by, the heart pinches because it's like I'm seeing somebody laying on the ground. So everybody is experiencing a different level of pain that they were supposed to experience at that particular moment in time. This is if we look at the tree of life and we see all these circles come together. These circles, each circle is us. Each circle is a whole, tamim. Each circle is a whole before God in the creation. And we come together, we have these kissing points where we kiss these points where we are meeting, where we have our stories come together, where we have our stories interject. Sometimes we create new stories and sometimes we're just passing by. And so there is never really a good point to enter or end the story. But everybody in the spiritual realm, in God's realm, everybody is going through what they need to go through, and our connectedness is exactly where we need to connect to experience what we're connecting. And we may see the same thing, but everybody is experiencing it in a different level. Maybe some have to experience because they had past lives that they're here again to heal something. Somebody who is going through something the first time, maybe that triggers something about parenthood for somebody. Maybe that accident that I just saw caused somebody to think, oh, my kid was in that area. So that parent is starting to be anxious. Is everything okay with my kid? Maybe he was in that area. It triggers everybody in different ways, but everybody in different ways in the way that they are about and need to be triggered. So faith is not just, oh, I believe in God. Faith is, I believe that everything, I put my faith, I put my trust, I put my trust in God, and knowing that everything is happening for the good and for the good of my journey. So if we look at everything that happens, we look at our journey, where we are, and we accept and we rejoice in everything that we have. I mean, we wake up every morning, we breathe, we can walk. Some people cannot walk, some people cannot breathe very well. So if we look at all this, we see that everything is for the good of our journey. And to be thankful for, to be thankful for everything that is happening here. To be thankful for all these goodness all these good things that are happening, the people that are in our lives, the experiences, the gifts that we have so we can shine them to the world. And so, to recap, the forgetfulness that we got from God is actually a tool to help us navigate all the obstacles and navigate also all the good things. Because maybe we choose to forget certain traumatic experience that will help us go through until it is time for us to deal with that. And maybe it is time for us to forget certain interactions that we had so we can move forward. having a breakup, being in a breakup, it is devastating. Going through these channels, but not forgetting our essence, not being like a empty tin can on the ocean that every wave moves us left and right and right and left, but being in a place where we are remembering, where we bring all our members of our body, remembering us together, bringing us together, so we don't forget and we can put our trust in the Creator, in God. And as I speak with you, on the top of my phone, there is a little baby grasshopper. Fascinating. If I could take a picture, maybe I can take a picture and post it up later. It is fascinating. Just this little tiny grasshopper is here. So you're going to see a little the camera here. I'm going to do this. Okay, good. I took a picture. I'll post it. So let's remember all these small things, and put our trust in God, put our trust in ourselves, trust that we have all the tools and all the gifts to shine to the world. Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, Chatima Tova, and all the wonderful blessing to you. See you soon.